So you're searching what fits in a 10 by 30 storage unit. And honey, let me just acknowledge something. You're not here because you have a few boxes and a dresser. You're here because you've got everything. The whole house, the business, the vehicles. The stuff you forgot was in the garage. Maybe all of the above. You need the big one. And you need someone to confirm you're not crazy for needing it. I'm Margot Way, and I'm about to walk you through the king of storage units, what I call the two-car garage, because that's exactly what it is. How big is a 10 by 30 storage unit? A 10 by 30 is 300 square feet. That's 10 feet wide by 30 feet deep. Picture a standard two-car garage or a small studio apartment, or, and this helps people visualize it, enough room to park two cars bumper to bumper with space left over. We're talking serious real estate here. With 8-foot ceilings, you're working with 2,400 cubic feet of total storage. That's not a closet. That's not a spare room. That's a legitimate space that could hold most people's entire lives with room to spare. The 10 by 30 is for when regular storage isn't going to cut it. What can you actually fit in a 10 by 30 storage unit? This is where I start sounding like I'm exaggerating, but I promise I'm not. A 10 by 30 comfortably holds a 4 to 5 bedroom house, everything, every room, every closet, I forgot about that corner. Living room, dining room, multiple bedrooms, kitchen appliances, garage stuff, basement stuff, attic stuff, all of it, plus 60 to 80 boxes. A full household plus 1 or 2 vehicles. Your entire house contents plus a car, or a car and a motorcycle, or a boat. Yes, people store boats in these. Multiple generations of family belongings, your stuff, your parents' stuff, your grandparents' estate, that furniture everyone's fighting over at the holidays. The 10 by 30 holds it all while everyone figures out who gets what. A serious business operation, contractor equipment, restaurant supplies, retail inventory, event planning materials. Enough to run a legitimate operation with room to organize, stage, and access. A complete estate in transition when you inherit everything someone owned and you need time. Time to grieve, time to sort, time to decide. The 10 by 30 doesn't rush you. An entire household during major construction, full gut renovation, adding a second story, rebuilding after damage. The 10 by 30 holds your whole house while the work gets done. Recreational vehicles and toys plus storage. We're talking ATVs, jet skis, multiple motorcycles, camping trailers, plus boxes and furniture. The garage and the house together. The 10 by 30 is not for minimalists. It's for people with actual lives and actual stuff and actual reasons to keep it all. Is a 10 by 30 big enough for a 5-bedroom house? Yes, and probably with room to spare. Here's the thing about big houses. They don't actually have proportionally more furniture than smaller houses. They have more space between the furniture, more hallways, more empty corners. A 5-bedroom house has more beds, sure, more dressers, maybe a bigger dining table, but when you compress it all into storage, it takes up less space than you'd think. What takes up space is the accumulation. The garage that's been collecting things for 20 years. The basement full of holiday decorations and exercise equipment and boxes labeled MISC from 3 moves ago. The attic where memories go to hide. A 10 by 30 handles the house and the accumulation. That's its superpower. If you're storing a 5-bedroom house with a 3-car garage, an overstuffed basement, and a detached workshop, you might need 2 units, but that's a mansion's worth of stuff. For most big households, the 10 by 30 is more than enough. Can you store vehicles in a 10 by 30? This is one of the main reasons people get this size. A 10 by 30 fits 2 cars parked end to end, or 1 car plus a whole lot of household items, or a car and a boat, or a car and multiple motorcycles, or an RV, depending on the height. At 20 feet long, you've got room for full-size trucks, SUVs, boats on trailers, and most recreational vehicles, plus room to walk around them and access other stuff you're storing. What's the difference between a 10 by 20 and a 10 by 30? Simple math, but big difference in real life. A 10 by 20 is 200 square feet. That's a 3 to 4 bedroom house or a vehicle plus stuff. A 10 by 30 is 300 square feet. That's 50% more space. That's a 4 to 5 bedroom house or multiple vehicles or a household plus a business or generations of family belongings. Here's the practical difference. In a 10 by 20, everything fits, but it's snug. You pack smart, you stack efficiently, you make it work. In a 10 by 30, everything fits and you can breathe. You can create aisles. You can organize by category. You can actually find things without unpacking half the unit. That breathing room is worth more than people realize until they don't have it. How much does a 10 by 30 storage unit cost? It's the biggest standard unit size, so yes, it costs more than smaller options, but usually not as much as people expect. And here's the math that matters. A 10 by 30 costs less than renting 2 smaller units every time. I've seen people rent a 10 by 15 and a 10 by 10 because they thought they were being smart. They end up paying more per month, dealing with 2 locks, 2 doors, 2 trips every time they need something. And their stuff is split up so they can never find anything. One 10 by 30 costs less and works better. That's just math. At YourWay Storage, the price online is the price you pay. No bait and switch. No teaser rates that triple after the first month. No mysterious fees at checkout. Check rates for your location online. Takes 30 seconds. And when you're comparing facilities, make sure you're comparing real rates, not promotional nonsense designed to get you in the door. Should you get climate control for a 10 by 30? If you're storing a household, especially a nice one, yes. Here's the reality. You're not storing this much stuff because it doesn't matter to you. You're storing it because it does matter, because it has value, financially or emotionally, or both. Climate control protects that value. Wood furniture warps and cracks with temperature swings. Leather dries out and splits. Electronics corrode with humidity. Photos stick together. Documents yellow. Fabric mildews. You're not going to notice the damage for months, maybe years. Then you open a box and your grandmother's china is ruined. Your wedding album is destroyed. Your vintage collection is toast. Climate control is insurance that actually works. The difference in monthly cost is usually less than dinner out. Your stuff is worth dinner out. For vehicles, climate control is nice, but not essential if the vehicle is properly prepped. For classic cars with leather interiors or collectible vehicles, climate control is worth it. Now here's where I get real with you. A 10 by 30 isn't just a storage unit. It's a reset button for your entire life. It's where everything goes when you're between chapters. When one house sold and the next one isn't ready. When the renovation is bigger than expected. When life threw something at you and you need time to figure out the next move. It's where generations of memories land when someone passes and the family needs to process before they can decide. That takes time, real time. Grief doesn't follow a schedule, and neither should your storage. It's where the business lives while you scale, where the inventory goes when you outgrew the garage, but a warehouse lease doesn't make sense yet, where you can be flexible while you figure out what's next. The 10 by 30 is permission to not have it all figured out. And here's what I've learned about people who need this much space. They're usually going through something big. A death, a divorce, a move across the country, a business transition, a life chapter ending or beginning. Those moments don't need judgment, they need room. But here's my advice, and this is different because you're looking at the biggest one. Don't go smaller to save a few bucks. I know the 10 by 20 looks cheaper. I know the 10 by 15 looks even cheaper. And your brain is doing the math, wondering if you can squeeze. You can't. Well, you can, but you'll regret it. Here's what happens when people undersize. They pack the unit to the ceiling. They can't find anything. They dread every visit because it means unpacking half the unit to reach something in the back. And 6 months later, they're renting a second unit anyway, which costs more than just getting the 10 by 30 from the start. I've watched this movie 100 times. It always ends the same way. If you're looking at the 10 by 30, you already know you need it. Your gut brought you here. Trust it. The 10 by 30 costs more than the smaller units, yes, but it costs less than 2 smaller units. It costs less than the stress of cramming. It costs less than damaged items because nothing had room to breathe. It costs less than your sanity. If you're storing a whole house, get the whole house unit. If you're storing vehicles plus belongings, get the space that fits both. If you're you're storing generations of family items, give those memories the room they deserve. Don't squeeze a big life into a small space just to save $40 a month. That's not savings. That's a headache with a monthly payment. Here's the bottom line. The 10 by 30 is the 2-car garage, the whole house solution, the everything including the stuff I forgot about answer. It's for people who have big lives, big transitions, and big needs. It's not for everyone, but if you're still reading this, it's probably for you. Got emotional baggage? We've got units, because sometimes peace needs 300 square feet and permission to figure it out later. When life gets messy, store it your way. Whether you're in Somerville, The Hill, or over by Augusta National, we're right here at 3637 Walton Way, ready to help you get your space back. YourWay Storage, Augusta. When life gets messy, store it your way.